What is up, everybody? It's your man, I Do It Barber here, and today in this video is a very good video. The premise of the video initially was to dispel a rumor in the barber industry. I've heard before from barbers that Wahl clippers are better for straight hair and Andis clippers are better for over curly hair. So the original premise behind this video was to do one side with the Wahl Magic Clips, the other side with the Andis Masters, and see which fade comes out better, or maybe not. They just come out the same. However, one of the barbers at the barber college decided to throw a monkey wrench into the plan, and he allowed me to use his fast feeds or Oster topazes. So I did one side with the Wahl Magic Clips, one side with the Andis Masters, and I did the back with the Oster fast feeds. But let's get into the video.
So as I told you guys in the introduction of the video, you already know the premise. So we're just gonna get right into it. I'm just creating my guideline. And on the left side, like I said, I'm starting with the Andis Masters with the gold blade. And this was a really fun haircut to do because it taught me a lot. And we'll go into that a little bit later into the video. But I'm really using the same steps for pretty much for the most part, the same steps with all the clippers. So right here, I'm going lever open. And this is what I typically do, and a lot of other barbers do the same thing. They'll go lever open 1 inch, then they'll drop it down halfway, and then they'll go down close to knock down that bottom line. So for the masters, for when I picked up the topazes or fast feeds, whatever you want to call them, I use the same thing with those as well. So as you can see, it's slowly fading away. And sorry for the camera angle, because I normally don't cut at this station. I definitely should have had the camera at a different angle, so my bad on that. But this was actually really interesting because I'm having to use 3 different clippers. I'm having to use a bunch of different guards to actually complete this process. Well, actually, the guards I used on the Masters, I was able to use on the Oster clippers, but I was just having to go back and make sure I don't go into another area with a different clipper, just to make sure that this is actually a pure haircut and a pure fade in its purest form. So as you can see, like I've only cut his hair once before, and I used the Masters. So you see that's pretty faded. So now I'm going up 1 inch with my one guard open. So you can see the contrast difference now there. And he has very coarse and dense hair. So his hair, you really have to be mindful, and this is just a little tip for you beginners out there, is that make sure you make the appropriate guidelines when you're fading coarse, dense hair, because if you don't, the blend's gonna look really compressed and it's gonna look like a chili bowl. So now I just drop down to the 1, and then of course I go down to my 0 guard, and that's typically what I do. I have the 0 guard on here now, and I'm just basically taking out that bottom line, just using the corners, you know, cut, combing, cut, combing, just attacking some little spots there. I use pretty much the same system, you know, adjustables open, then I knock that line out half and then close, and then I go up above, I'll take the 1.5, 1 inch, and then I'll drop down to the 1 close, and then I'll take out the final bottom line with the 0 guard. So as you saw what I did up there, I grabbed my 2 guard to connect it and blend it all to the top. From this distance, you probably saw that it may have looked blended, but there was a little bit of bulk through there. So I just used the 2 guard to connect that. I started with it open, and then I went right underneath that closed. So now I just slap back on my 1 open, and I'm just tacking with the corners just to make sure it's a nice smooth blend into that bulk up top. And I know a lot of people complain that the Masters 1.5 doesn't fade into the 2. I'm gonna be honest, yes it does. It fades into the 2. You just have to know how to use it, and it's really not that hard of a transition. I don't know where people get that from as far as the Andis 1 guard open doesn't fade into the 2 guard. It does for me. It just really depends on how you use it. But that's the beauty of Wahl, is that they have that 1.5 guard. And you'll see once I get to that section. So I'm just doing this section, like I said, with the Masters, I'm just doing a little detail work. I got my zero guard on there now, you know, cutting, combing, you know, just detailing, making sure the blend is A-okay. So now I've got my Osters on, and same principle as I did before. Open, 1-inch guideline. So the system doesn't change with the clippers, and that's the thing with all these different clippers. The system shouldn't change. That you're seeing how you're picking up a new tool, everything should still be the same. And like I say, unless the guard system is just completely different. But in this scenario, it's still the same. So now I've got it halfway open, and I'm going up about halfway to 3/4 through that line, and then you can see the contrast different. One thing I will tell you about his hair is this. It's very strange, and I've never encountered this before. His hair in the back is not as dense as it is on the sides. Typically, when you're fading somebody's hair, the hair on the side blends easy. It's easy to get the bottom line out on the sides, and then you have a lot of difficulties in the back because the hair is more dense and is more coarse. On him, it's the total opposite. I will say this, and then you guys know I fade with all my clippers are Andis. I don't have any other products, but I will say this about using these topazes or fast feeds, whatever you want to call them. I like the way they cut. They cut smooth. If you can see this blend, it took no time to do it. However, I did take into account that the back is not as coarse and not as dense, so the hair was obviously coming off a little bit easier. I would have probably liked to see me do this portion, but I will say this: I've never faded with fast feeds ever before. I've never done a fade with wall clippers before ever, so this is my first time using both of these clippers. But I will say I did like those Oster topazes, fast feeds, whatever, speed lines, or you know, I don't know why they did that, changing the name of those clippers, but it's pretty much the same. But here I'm just detailing in here, trying to get the blend ready to actually go into the bulk up top. Like I just got my 1.5 on, and as you can see, it's coming together. This blend is looking nice. And of course I got the 2 on open, and I'm going up a little bit high into his crown area, and then of course, you know, I dropped down to the 2. So I didn't want to just go in straight in with the 2 and take too much off. I started off with 2.5 first, then I dropped down to 2 closed. So as you can see, the blend there looks pretty much the same, like I used the Masters for this entire cut.
This is a
so as you see, I pointed out a little dark area, and that's that area where the density changes from the side to the back. I had to create the illusion that it's all the same, because what happens is if you don't create that illusion there, it'll look like either they're thinning or have a bald spot. And that's actually one thing to do with people that bald in the crown. You want to take down that hair on the sides before it actually goes into the lighter spots. So now it's fast feed time. Well, not fast feed, it's magic clip time. I put the zero guard on first because here's what I noticed. This has a surgical blade. Both of those other ones have taper blades on them. And what I didn't want was it to be shorter, meaning the open lever on the magic clip is a lot shorter than the Masters in that fast feed open. So I put the zero guard on halfway to create the same length. Yep, that just happened. That was not a joke.
Wall problems. Wall problems.
Wall clippers, man. And he doesn't have the premium guards. I know you guys are probably like, just use the premium guards. That won't happen if you use the premium guards. Yes, I know. He just has those. So for all of you guys that fade with walls out there, and I dropped it again. I dropped it. I can't, but you guys have probably seen people fade with walls doing like a self cut or something, and the guard falls off mid stroke and they plug themselves or they plug a customer. Yeah. I've heard people talk about this. I've never experienced it before because I don't use wall clippers, but yep, that is true. So I started with the lever halfway on this one, and I'm just I closed it, and then I'm gonna take it down and basically fade this little section down. One thing I'll say about the wall magic clips is this, in the wall guard system. it is really easy. It's almost dummy proof. I'm going to tell you guys right now, if you know how to fade and you fade with walls, all your fades better be clean. Because I'm going to be honest, there's no excuse why a fade should not come out good if you're using wall clippers in that guard system, because you have the half, the one and a half, and all of those lengths are so close to each other that there's really no room to make excuses why a fade doesn't look good using the wall guard system. I mean, really, it was that easy for me. I felt it was like so easy to make a blend. Now, the thing was, while doing this, I did have to make some adjustments. I did have to get used to it because, like I said, this is my first time ever fading with wall clippers and using their guard system. So it took me a little bit to actually figure it out. But once I actually got to the result that I was looking for, I was like, this is easy. I was like, maybe that's why people like fading with the walls, is because it's that easy. Like, you know, as you know, with the Masters, there's only the 0 guard, the 1 guard, and the 2. You know, there's nothing in between. And that wall half guard is a lot shorter than the Andis Master 0 guard or the Andis 0 guard. Even if, you know, if you're talking about the double magnetic or the single magnetics. So now here I got the 1 guard on and I'm just tying in this blend. Like I said, it took me a little while to figure this thing out. I got the 1 open, the 1 and a half open. And you see I'm going up through the ridge there to take down some of that bulk. And then I'm going to drop down, closing that 1 and a half, and then take down the ridge. So this was a fun experiment, guys, because a lot of barbers say like, oh, these clippers fade better than these, or these clippers are better for this type of hair. This experiment was basically to dispel any of those rumors or lies that people may tell you, especially for the beginners that may be struggling to try and find which clipper is the right clipper for them, or I heard these actually cut straight hair better. I'm gonna be honest, from this experiment on his hair type, his hair texture, that's all a lie. Because if you wait till we see the finished product of this haircut, both sides are gonna look all the same from the sides to the back. They're all gonna look the same and they're gonna look equally as good. In my opinion, neither side looked better than the other. From the back to the sides, they all look the same in my opinion. So it really comes down to the barber's skill level. So next time I hear somebody say that, I'm just gonna have to laugh in their face. And now that you guys actually watch this video, you can also laugh in their face, because the crazy part about this challenge for me was I've never faded with wall clippers before, and I've never faded with Oster fast feeds before. So it was a good experience and a good experiment, because typically, like I said, I primarily fade with detachable blades. So I rarely use adjustables and guards to fade. I really don't even like fading with guards. And I always notice when I'm fading with guards that you got to do a lot extra work when you're going into the hair with guards, because it just doesn't pick up the hair as clean as the blades. But it was fun. I mean, I'm going to be honest, this is the first time I faded with blades. Well, I faded with the blades. Well, no, not the blades, but the guards. This is the first time I faded with the guards in well over a year. But it was a fun experience. It was really fun. And that's what I like about YouTube and doing different things and just stepping out the box, because you actually get to try different things and see what works. Who knows? You know, if I would have liked it so much, who knows? Maybe I would be more prone to pick up the guards or even fade with my masters more often, which after doing this, I'm actually not opposed to picking up some guards and fading with them. So it's always fun. I like these different things. It's just like Jeezy when he threw out the no guard challenge, and I got my video on that. I'll leave a link in the description or the end screen. That was a fun challenge because it allows you to step your game up and see where your true potential is as a barber. And really, a lot of the challenges that you see here on YouTube, the barbers, I encourage all the barbers to try them, because what'll happen is you never know what you'll learn doing these challenges. You might actually figure something out while doing this challenge and incorporate that into your barber game. So, you know, I thank Jeezy for putting out the challenge, and it lit a fire under me to do it. So, as you guys probably see, I'm edging him up. So, just keeping it real simple. He has a real funny hairline due to his hair overlapping, and sometimes his hair goes to the side a little bit, so it throws off the look of his actual hairline. But I'm just keeping it simple. Got my GTXs with the gold blades. Those things hit. So I'm just keeping it real simple. I do his beard as well, but I don't do it on this video. I don't get any footage of me actually doing his beard, because as I told you, I'm doing this at school, and there's also people watching, so I'm actually talking. There's a whole bunch of other stuff going on. So now I'm creating this little guide underneath the fade, the bottom of his fade, and I'm gonna bald out the rest of that underneath. I don't think I'm gonna show much footage of me actually balding him out, but this is a fun experience and a fun experiment. So as you see, I'm balding him out, and I'm just gonna tie that fade together and finish it off.
This is a Chucky
You guys have probably seen people take pictures with the fade like this, or maybe you've seen people do a fade like this where they just leave the bottom. I don't typically do this, I'm gonna be honest. I just decided to try it and see what it is, you know, if it's worth doing or not. To me, I'm a little different. I don't care. Either way, I would actually just prefer to bald it out first and then do the fade. For me, that would be easier. It just felt like this was a little bit more work. So I don't think I'll be doing this ever again. I think I'll just bald first and then go into my face. So I'm actually taking out that line with my masters, and I actually come back with the Wahl Magic Clip, because it has that surgical blade, and it was actually able to get that trimmer line out. I don't think I showed you in the video, but thanks for watching, guys. This was a really fun video. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, and also browse the channel. I have plenty of great barbering content on this channel, and I drop videos every week. And if you do subscribe, if you do, press the notification bell, because that's the finished product, and you get to see firsthand what it's like. That's left side masters, right side magic clips, back with the topazes or fast feeds. So like I said, press that notification bell, because sometimes YouTube, when I do these live streams, when they talk about barbering and other things, it doesn't notify you guys. So let me know what you guys think of this fade. It was fun. It looks good. You see his beard. I did it. I'm out. Holla.
What is up, everybody? It's your man, I Do It Barber here, and today in this video is a very good video. The premise of the video initially was to dispel a rumor in the barber industry. I've heard before from barbers that Wahl clippers are better for straight hair and Andis clippers are better for over curly hair. So the original premise behind this video was to do one side with the Wahl Magic Clips, the other side with the Andis Masters, and see which fade comes out better, or maybe not. They just come out the same. However, one of the barbers at the barber college decided to throw a monkey wrench into the plan, and he allowed me to use his fast feeds or Oster topazes. So I did one side with the Wahl Magic Clips, one side with the Andis Masters, and I did the back with the Oster fast feeds. But let's get into the video.
So as I told you guys in the introduction of the video, you already know the premise. So we're just gonna get right into it. I'm just creating my guideline. And on the left side, like I said, I'm starting with the Andis Masters with the gold blade. And this was a really fun haircut to do because it taught me a lot. And we'll go into that a little bit later into the video. But I'm really using the same steps for pretty much, for the most part, the same steps with all the clippers. So right here, I'm going lever open. And this is what I typically do, and a lot of other barbers do the same thing. They'll go lever open 1 inch, then they'll drop it down halfway, and then they'll go down close to knock down that bottom line. So for the masters, for when I picked up the Topazes or Fast Fees, whatever you want to call them. I use the same thing with those as well. So as you can see,